Hi y'all, Darla here with Growing Tropical, and in today's video I'm going to be planting up salvia. But before I start getting started and planting all these beautiful red and blue salvia up, I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about the two varieties that I'm actually going to be growing here. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be lining the sidewalk with the red salvia that you can see. I'm hoping you guys can see that. And then I also have the blue salvia. And I'm going to be putting those actually probably right here in this area, and I've got some pots that are over here, one at the opposite end, and then I've got one here behind the camera, and I'm going to be planting those up in those pots. But let's talk about the varieties. This particular variety that I have in my hand right here is a Salvia splendens. Now this particular variety right here is it's most commonly sold as an annual, but I can treat it as perennial here in my zone 10 area, my zone 10 area. And just a couple of the characteristics about it. It is just a real pretty, I'm going to bring it up to the camera. It's just a real pretty green leafy, dark, well, the foliage will actually get a lot greener as I put fertilizer on it, but it's a really pretty soft leaf that sends up these beautiful, and of course I'll explain this a little bit later why these look so rickety, but it sends up these pretty little bloom stalks. This one happens to be just a red, it's like a red-orange color. And they generally, the splendens usually come in the colors of, I believe I've seen them in purple, not I believe, I have seen them in purple because I actually have them in a window box. And they have them in a white. White's not too common in my area. I'm not real sure. I've seen them a couple of times, but most commonly in my area, it's the purple and the reddish orange color that they come in. Salvia are also, just a little fun fact, they are the largest genus of plants in the mint family. I thought that was kind of cool when I read that. But there's probably, gosh, about 1,000 varieties of salvia that are out there, and they come in like annual, they come in perennial, which again, like I said, I treat these as perennial in my area, but they also come in shrub form. So you just want to make sure that when you are buying or when you're looking at your landscape, that you are choosing the right type of salvia for the area that you're wanting to put it in. So anyway, this salvia, I should say, these particular varieties that I have are very heat and they're very drought tolerant. But I do find that when I first plant these guys, it's important for me to water them in every day for a couple of weeks until that root ball gets really super established in the ground, so it can really go ahead and grab a hold of that soil and really get strong. And then I find that after several weeks of that I can put them more on a timely watering schedule with pretty much everything else that is in my landscape. The other thing about these guys that I don't like, but I use a preventative, is they really, for me here in my area, they really attract the slugs. And that's usually the only issues that I generally have. I think one year I got leaf miners, but as a general rule, it's the slugs. So usually what I end up doing when I plant these guys, especially in the landscape, I usually put like a slug bait down. I use just, I'll have to show you guys when I'm putting it down. It's a Southern Agriculture makes it. It's just a slug bait, I think is what it's called. And it's fantastic, but it just keeps those little critters from getting up there and just, they just literally disintegrate. They eat the leaf right off and you're left with literally nothing, usually spikes that look a lot like this. And actually the reason why these spikes look kind of ragged the way they are is because I got these on a sale. So I don't usually pass up a sale if I don't have to. I generally don't necessarily look for plants that look ratty. I'm just one of those people that like to buy the best looking plant and the healthiest looking plant if I can, because I like that instant gratification look when you're done planting. However, I did get these guys. They were marked $1.38, but I got them for $1. So I got them for 38 cents cheaper a piece, and I bought several trays. So it was a significant savings. But with these, like I said, because they are perennial in my area, I could just keep pinching back the bloom stalks on these. And that's what I figured I'd do. I left them on for right now, even though they're a little ratty-tatty. So aesthetically, well, let me back up. I'm getting too ahead of myself. So aesthetically speaking, what I will do is for this video, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm leaving the stalks on so you guys can actually see them. But what I'm going to do is after this video, I'll have to give you guys a tour of what they look like after they've regenerated. But I will literally go in, and I'm going to bring this up to the camera so I can show you. But these bloom stalks, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5 just on this tiny little plant. But what I'll do is I will go in, and if you guys can see, there are 2 little leaves that are right there, and then there's this stalk. I can go in and usually either with my fingernails, I can just pinch it right off. And I can do that with a little scissor as well. I've got just like a little tiny scissor that I can kind of get into tight spaces. But again, like I said, after this video, I'm going to go in and I'm going to deadhead them is basically what I'm going to do. And it's this particular variety of salvia is one that you generally, well, I guess I shouldn't say you have to, but it would be recommended that you would deadhead these because they don't look really nice when these stalks are just kind of hanging out, and they will hang on for a long time before they actually just like die and fall over. So I always like to, when they start looking like this, I always like to just kind of go in there and do just what I showed you guys and just kind of go down to this first set of leaflets that are coming out, and then right above it I just kind of pull or get it with my nail. I'm saying there it is. I pinch it off with my nail, and then by doing that, not only does the plant look better, but then it just sends its energy going back into making new spikes, and then they come out stronger than ever and they look really nice. So anyway, that is the one that's going to be going in the walkway here, is the Salvia Splendid. Now the other variety that I have is this variety right here. And I know I'm going to just beat this name up when I say it. It's a Salvia Florencia. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. But I think that's what these are, is the Salvia Florencia. Now, they are cousins. These plants, these two, the Splendens and the Florencia, are cousins. And while they have a lot of similarities, and I can't remember if I told you, the Salvia Splendens, they get anywhere from 12 to 15 inches tall and about 8 to 10 inches wide. The Florencia Salvia will get anywhere from, well, if you have them in the landscape, they'll grow more like a shrub, and they'll get anywhere from 3 to 4 foot high. And you know, when I first found that out, I was like, no kidding. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. But they actually will. And that is a difference between the two here that I have. And also the leaf is a little bit, I'm going to show you the difference between the two. The leaf with the Florencia is a little bit thinner, like more narrow, I should say. And the Splendens is a little bit wider. The leaf on this one is a little smoother, and it's more serrated on the Splendens. And of course, then you can see, obviously, you've got different colors here as well. This one is just a really pretty, well, it's like a purpley blue. It's just really, really pretty. But it sends up these beautiful little spikes, and just like the salvia, the orange ones that I was showing you, these also need to be deadheaded as well. Or I find that it just aesthetically, it looks better when you deadhead them, as well as it just kind of sends that energy right back into the plant to create, you know, more bloom stalks. And that's always just kind of been my MO, the thing that I just kind of do to make the plant look better. And so what I'm going to be doing with these is I'm going to be, oh, let me back up just a little bit. These are a little hardier in the fact that slugs I don't have a problem with slugs bothering them here, but I do have a little bit of an issue sometimes, not always, which is kind of important why it's important to water instead of overhead on these, that you want to water more along the base or the bottom, because they tend to develop a powdery mildew. You can put a fungicide on them. I don't necessarily recommend that you would do it preventatively or whatever, because they may not even necessarily, you know, develop that. But I do find that when I have grown these, that especially like in a container, I notice it even a little bit more. I have to be really careful about the way I water them. Again, watering from underneath as opposed to over top, because they are a little bit more they do tend to develop that powdery mildew. So other than that, these are two beautiful hardy varieties of salvia that you are very versatile. Again, you can grow them in the landscape and you can grow them in pots. And like I said, I'm going to be growing these guys. I'm going to be growing in pots, and I will be showing you as I'm planting those. And again, I think I'm going to be planting a couple of them just kind of over here. Hi, how are you? That was my neighbor who was saying hi. But anyway, I will be growing these plants in the containers, and again, like I said, into the where you can see right behind me in this little area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. If you can see, I'd already started just kind of raking this mulch out of this flower bed over here, and I've got it just kind of lined up in the walkway here. But I'm just going to go through and I'm going to just pop these guys in, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, right after that, I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant them up in the containers as well. So we'll come back and we'll take a look at that. Okay, you guys, I am back and I'm ready to kind of give you a little tour of what I did before it gets too dark out here. I want you guys to be able to actually see what I did. I'm really, really happy with the way everything looks. Like I said before, the salvia, because I got them on sale, the plumes on them were just a little more rattier than I normally would buy when I usually get them. They're usually really fresh or they're just new and they're just starting to come up, but these have been on there a little while. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to just leave them on so you guys can see the orangey spikes on them or whatever. But when I'm done, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just pinch them all back. And probably for the next, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they're going to be just kind of just green little specks down here. But with fertilizer and with water and a lot of love, they are going to come back, I know, very healthy, very happy, and very orange. So I'm very, very happy about that. So let me go ahead and give you a little tour of what I've done. Okay, so as you can see, again, they're just babies, but we'll go in and we'll just snip these little plumes off and just take them down to the little green leaves here, lots of fertilizer, and they will come back and they will just fill these whole areas up in this walkway. Should be really, really nice. And just as a recap, in my last video, when I was planting the Wallerania impatiens, which are just right over in here, okay? Can you guys see? I hope you guys can see all those. I stopped right over in there, and in the video, you guys, I'm going to try to link that video down in the bottom of this one, but in that video, I told you that I had to stop right in this area, right in here, because otherwise coming out into here, we get a full sun out in here. So those impatiens are not going to be able to take that. So I stopped back into there where they're just going to get a shade and then maybe a little bit of a dappling light come mid-afternoon. So they should be fine there. But again, not the impatiens, rather the salvia are lining the walkway all down in here. And I'm really, really hoping that there's still enough light that you guys can see just how pretty they look. And then, of course, I've got the container pots. Now, these are the sweet potato vines. I put 3 of them in here. These things go absolutely nuts. So I didn't want to put too many of them in there because these guys will just fill in really, really nice. And then I've got the other variety of salvia, Farsorania, anyway, Salvia F, let's put it that way. I'm going to pop that up on the screen so I can clarify to you guys. But these guys will get large and in charge. And then over here in this particular container, same container, but I did put a couple of more. I had actually another couple left. So what I did was I went ahead and just put a couple extra salvia in. If they get to be too much, I'll just pull them out. It's no big deal. But again, 3 of the sweet potato vines in there. And they hopefully should be really, really super pretty. So you guys, that was a lot of work, but I was really glad to be able to get this done because, like I said again, this is a time of the year where I really need to get a lot of the bigger projects done, like this digging and planting, some of the springtime stuff. I need to get it in now because it just gets so hot, and if I can get everything established and water really well, the probability of me going through the summer months with these are going to be really good. So anyway, you guys, it's been a lot of fun. I love this. As I've said before in all my videos, it's a passion, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying the content. I'd love to hear from you, love to hear some of the things that maybe you'd like to see me do. If you're enjoying my videos and you'd like to see maybe some other things, maybe some things that I haven't shown growing in my garden, maybe some things that you'd like to see living in this South Florida, a zone 9, 10 area. If you'd like to see that, please definitely leave a comment. If you like the video, leave it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe so you will be notified of all of my new releases, all my new videos coming out. So you guys, until the next video, bye for now.